So welcome back to this last seminar that we are hosting today. Today we have some special guests. We have Dr. Ebru Erbaş and Dr. Fatih Terzi, both professor from Istanbul Technical University. And as a reminder, before giving them the floor, I would like to thank you all for being attending all these seminars. And we hope that it has been a really nice sessions, and we hope during the following weeks and months to make some summaries related to what happened, what was better, what could be improved, and so on, to create some new activities within the EELISA Alliance. Okay, so just don't want to talk much more, just to thank you, Ebru, and to thank you, Fatih, for being here. Thank you very much. And Professor Fatih, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, greetings from Istanbul. I am moderating this closing sessions. My name is Fatih Terzi and working on food professor at the Department of Urban and Regional Planning at Istanbul Technical University. I am also a member of the EELISA Discovery Community, which organizes today's event. And in today's talk, our guest is Professor Ebru Erbaş Gürler from the Department of Landscape Architecture at Istanbul Technical University. And she will share 2 design experiences with us called Praxis on Landscape Design, Sustainable Strategies for Urban and Rural Cases. Now I'll let Ebru continue her presentation.
Thank you, Fatih. Hello, everyone. I'm Ebru. So I'm so glad to meet you. Thanks to EELISA community here. So I'm actually a landscape architect and currently working in Istanbul Technical University Landscape Architecture Department. My main academic focus is actually in history, theory, and criticism in landscape architecture, but in recent years, I have an interesting mainly memory and landscape relationship, and then social interactions and social issues in landscape architecture. But besides all these academic focus, actually, I have been practicing in many urban projects and landscape architecture projects and competitions as a team member and also team leader. So if you want, Fatih, I can share my screen and then I can start.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
We can go.
Yeah. So today I will present you 2 of these projects actually that I attend or as a team member. The first one is Tuzla Kamil Abduş Lagoon project that is located in the periphery of the city of Istanbul. So here in this project, employer was Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, and we had a big interdisciplinary team, including landscape architects, environmental engineers, and hydrologists. Yes, okay. So actually I will start with the location to understand the site better. Kamil Abduş Lagoon is located in Tuzla district on the Anatolian part of Istanbul. So Tuzla is the last point and the periphery of Istanbul on the Anatolian part. So you know that Istanbul actually is 2-sided city. So Tuzla is in Anatolian parts. So actually it's a kind of really special lagoon, which is one of the few lagoons in Istanbul. But after the building of Tuzla shipyard just next to the mouth of the lagoon in 1978, and the change of the bed of the stream, which provides fresh water for the lake, it quickly lost its ecological values, and the lake dried up in, unfortunately, 2003. So that's why this area as a lagoon filled only by seawater, and then it's struggling to survive despite all the environmental problems it has experienced. And the other important issue is related to this lagoon, the lake. So actually the lake is on the bird migration routes. So it's a frequent destination for birds. That's why one of the most concerning part of this project is this bird population. But after the shipyard was built, So the number of the bird species observed in the lake, this decreased from 45 to 22. I put some photos from the site to understand better the condition. So just behind of the lake, so you see the Tuzla shipyards as a dominated industrial activity. And then that's why, this industrial activity creates kind of an unecological conditions, but also creates an industrial memory for the region. So after actually in design process, we use this industrial memory as a design input that I show you later. And here is you see the lagoon and sea linkage canal where salty water enter the lake, because maybe you know, maybe don't know, the lagoon ecosystem actually is the mix of the salty and the fresh water mixing. And also in the site, there are some greenhouse cultivation areas, but these areas, unfortunately, adversely affect the water quality. So that's why we removed them from the site, but use also their memory in a different way in the project later. And also you see here with the shipyard background, and here is you see the existing wetlands, marshland vegetation with the, just behind of this shipyard, so you can easily recognize how the shipyard actually affect these natural sites. After the many detailed ecological, social, and physical analysis, actually we designed decisions and zones. So in order to understand, rehabilitate the lake ecosystem, it was necessary to understand the entire green and blue system of the blue infrastructure of the surrounding environment. That's why we create a green infrastructure proposal based on the hydrological cycles of the area will ensure the sustainable preservation of the ecological values of the lagoon in the future, actually. As a general approach, we propose that the transformation of Kamil Abduş Lake and its surrounding environment into a real lagoon environment where fresh and salty water can come together, as in the past, by ecological rehabilitation. But also, we would like to transform into a public space that serve an urban green infrastructure, meet the recreational needs of the users within the framework of protection-use balance, and raising environmental awareness. So that's why after that, we create the design zones according to this analysis. So the most protected zone is here, wetland, of course. We protect the wetlands, and then we create a buffer zone to protect these wetlands. And then we put maybe the most active part of this project, the park. This is maybe the most active park in the site, after this buffer zone, of course. And then create another different park types according to user profile. For example, shipyard park is mainly for the shipyard users and the workers, and Marjan Park is for Marjan dwelling users, user profile. And the other important part is the lagoon sea transition part, because actually here is the entering part, the salty water to the lake, and we work with the environmental engineers. And the other most natural part is the Pistacia Island, because there are lots of old Pistacia trees here. That's why this island is under protection. And the square is the most built and the most active part of this project, actually. And the bird islands. These islands are just for birds, no human use allowed. And here is you see the 2000 master plan of this project. One of the most important issues in this project actually was the water management. So with this system actually that you see in this image, we have both cleaned the water and provide the balance of fresh and salty water. That's why we create some different types of water management systems, such as infiltrations, stormwater management, water collecting canals, and so biosurveys to collect and rehabilitate the water, and etc. So we combined all these different systems in one water management plan, and then try to clean and then recharge the cleaned water to the lagoon ecosystem. Yes, this is one of the parts of maybe the most important part of this water management system is the constructed wetland. Here is we transfer the water and then we clean water and transfer to the clean water to the area. So here you see the zones of this cleaning system actually. In zone 1, there are sedimentation and ventilation pools. In zone 2, heavy mineral decomposition pools, and zone 3, nitrate decomposition pools, and zone 4, actually, the water totally cleaned, conditioning, and so showing the actually the clean water to the visitors. So it's kind of the last one is the water show area actually. So the visitors can see the totally cleaned water. Yes, and the other important thing is that maybe the most multidisciplinary part of this project, actually we try to create a hydrological modeling, of course, thanks to hydrologists and environmental engineers. So that's why by this modeling, we try to balance the salty and fresh water amounts in the lake. Yes. Here is you see the parks of the programs of the park in different zones. Now we can skip the screen, pass through these zones with the images and the programs. Here is the wetland part, the most protected part. So this part are just for birds and the natural wetlands. So that's why there are some natural areas for birds, and then we create some bird watching areas. Visitors can come and then watch birds with these terraces. So the other part is, remember that after buffer part and wetland and buffer, later we create a more active park. So the most actually important theme is here recycling, because of this industrial activity here, because there are lots of unused industrial materials, and then we recycle it and use in the park actually. So here is the program is more active, and then so you see in the list actually some thematic gardens, resting areas, meadows, thematic meadows, cafes, restaurants, kids squares, sports areas, and cycling and running and walkways even. It's the park entrance. So you see the actually shipyard on the background. And here is greenhouse square in the park, active park region. So let's remember that actually I showed you that the old greenhouse activities in the site, but of course we will remove these activities because of the cleaning the water issues. But we use their memory in the site as a program, park program, such as greenhouse cafes, demonstration greenhouses, winter garden, retail greenhouses, and etc. And create a kind of a greenhouse square actually. Here you see the kids square consists of with some thematic gardens, adventure parkers, mini wetlands, skate park and sports areas, because it's one of the most active part of this park. So in order to also understand and rehabilitate the lake ecosystem, it was necessary to understand all these system. And then that's why we create the real mini wetland to raise ecological awareness and promote wetland ecology in the kids area. That's why we create these real mini wetlands for children. Another zone is the shipyard park. just next to the shipyard, Tuzla shipyard. So here is calmer than the other, active park zone because of the user profile. So we just, program here for watching terraces, entrance info kiosk, resting areas, again, cycling, running, walking, and some small cafes and restaurants maybe. Here you see the one of proposed biosurveys in Shipyard Park. These biosurveys is, collect the rainwater and then clean by phytoremediation, and then discharge the clean water to lake. Yes, this is actually the industrial memory that you can see in the park identity. Actually, we use this recycled, how can I say, the material is corten or some, shipping materials that we use in the site by recycling, and then create the keeping this industrial identity and the memory on the site also. Yes, you see some natural playgrounds images here in Shipyard Park. And the other zone is the Mercan dwelling park. Here is kind of a two-story dwelling. So that's why we create some small area for this dwelling, because the whole site is quite big, and then that's why we should have create some different zones in the park for different user profiles. In Mercan Park, you can see the classical actually park functions, but also we create some organic bazaar functions because of the old greenhouse cultivation here. So that's why actually they are familiar. Mercan users are quite familiar to buy some organic foods. That's why we create an organic bazaar here, and cafes, restaurants, of course, some classical park elements, playgrounds, and some sports areas. Here is the Mercan Park Square and the organic bazaar shelter. This part is the crossing part of the lagoon and the Pistachio Island part. So here we, actually work with the environmental engineers because of the balance, the mouth of the salty water entrance to the lake part. So that's why actually it's kind of an engineering project. But also we, of course, join this part, the recreational part. So we create some beach facilities because there are old beaches in the island park. And also kind of watching terraces, cafes, and some toilets, of course, some observing decks, and etc. But normally it's kind of a engineering project because of the hydrological modeling and the balancing of these lagoon mouths. And you see here the resting platforms in this transforming area, crossing area. Some images from the park design. Yes, here is the most active part of this project actually, because of the actually protection status of the park. Here is maybe the less protection protected part of this site. That's why we put all these, the most active functions to this area, such as activity square, natural history museum, open air art exhibitions, constructed wetland that I showed you before, and the visiting center, and etc. And the last one is the bird islands. These are just for birds. We made an ecological restoration here, of course, and then just put some perching units and the insect hotels. The human use not allowed here, actually. And here you see some architectural buildings and facilities, such as park entrance, toilets, info buildings, beach facilities, cafes, and etc. Actually, last year, the first phase of the project was implemented. So you see the implemented parts, photos of the implemented parts here. Yes, these photos were taken last year. Day by day, it's, developed. Actually, here you see the realized part of the biosphere actually area, and then we quite proud of the implementing of this biosphere. Actually, now you see the actually it collects some rainwater here and then clean, and then again we recharge the lake. Yes, after the actually the most pleasing part is flamingos are back, because after the shipyard was built, flamingos stopped coming to the lake. But for the first time in a long time, after a long time, they were seen in the fields in the site last year. So that's why maybe the most pleasing part of this project after the implementation. So we hope that the other parts of the park can be implemented next years. Sorry. Yes. So the second project actually is a competition project. So in this project, again, we work with a multidisciplinary team, and also our moderator, Professor Fatih Terzi, also a part of this team. So this time the title actually for the project and the aim of this project, creating an ecological common living space for the city of Izmir. Actually, Izmir is a again big city, big metropolitan, is the west part of the Turkey. So, but this area actually is a rural area, but just actually quite near to the Izmir city periphery. So as you see, actually in the picture, it's quite a natural area in the rural part. Actually the site is in the Asian olive cultivation valley, but of course is in the under the urban pressure, of course. So this specification actually asks us to consider the area together with the traditional olive culture and existing Eurovelo and agrotourism routes. Within the scope of the competition, including ecological, sustainable, innovative, and economical solutions that are in harmony with both the peninsula, urban periphery parks, and the Izmir green infrastructure strategy, and the Asian olive culture. So, of course, it was requested to develop an architectural design idea project with landscape planning and design that will allow the integration of the area with the city by creating unique designs. Our conceptual approach actually inspired from the cell mechanism. So that's why we actually named this approach as titled Selectively Permeable Interface. What is selectively permeable actually? Allows activities, processes, and inputs that feed the biological, genetic, and production cycles of the area and prevents negative impact factors has been developed. So actually, this is, this system expressed herein refers to the cell membrane, because you know that the cell membrane directs to the movements of molecules in or out and has selectively permeability. So this cell membrane is the boundary between the inside and outside of a cell. So it's two-layered, lively, and selectively permeable. So that's why this system, actually, this cell system is quite, similar to the site itself, site system itself. That's why the main inspiration here is this natural system. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So you see here that actually there are other endemic species on site besides the olive trees, of course, but there are lots of old and Asian olive trees that we found in the site. And of course, we get some inspiration from these olive trees, especially in terms of the life cycle of these trees, are quite important for the creating of olive cultivation and life cycle diagrams, and also a historical cycle of these, the journey of olive cultivation. So the olive trunk is the actually field us, these life cycles, and we create these cycling diagrams. Sorry, yeah. So with a perspective that sees the landscape as a socio-ecological system, the project has constructed a socioeconomic cyclicality that can be in a dialogue with the ecological structure in the area. So according to this idea, actually, we developed three important structure and keywords. The first one is information transfer, and the second is experience, and the third is circularity of production. So according to these three important terms or keywords, we determined the actors that we use this to decide. So the first actor group is the who work in the fields, and the second who use the fields, and the third is who learn from the fields. So that's why these three actor group are quite important for the design developments. And in the landscape design, we aim to protect the ecological values of the area and to repair the destroyed features, of course, the first, and to design a durable and productive landscape, both as a process and physically, which can adapt to any environmental conditions that may occur so in the future. And with the point of view, the selective permeability, our main title, and cyclicality. So 4 basic regions that interact with each other are defined: active use, interactive use, production-based use, and passive nature. So also sub-uses of the 4 basic regions have also been determined for the park program. And you see here the ecological approaches on site. So the first, one of the first things is that the repairing of tree and maquis textures in slopey and very slopey areas. And the second, repairing all the cracks formed by water erosion in the area with soil and plant support. And of course, revitalizing the soil and creating a productive landscape. So we create a production model that brings together the production culture from the past of the field site, and restorative agriculture has been proposed here together. So you see here the restorative farming process and the positive outcomes in diagrams. Oh, sorry. Also, we create some wet activity areas. We collect water, and then also, also we allow that these wet areas can be used and observed or watching in park program. And surrounding environment, actually, there are lots of Asian olive cultivation culture traces, actually. These photos are taken of the Olive Museum, actually. So we really get inspiration from these museums. Actually, we try to get these traces to the side as design input. Ancient, you see here, ancient and traditional olive production tools and machines. And we use these actually traces or reinterpret these actually tools on site. And then try to reflect these olive culture to space through play and experience. Here you see the play area on site. Yes, this is the architectural characteristics and the reflection comes from the regional vernacular character. The architects create these vernacular character to create their architectural identity. So you see that actually the buildings and the whole actually eco village is like a kind of an Aegean village. Yes, if we have time, Fatih,
Actually,
I would like to, yeah.
Actually, we have just 1 minute.
1 minute, okay. So,
Yeah.
okay, so actually I would like to show this animation, but if we
Yeah.
don't have time, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can start. I think it's short animation. Right?
Okay. Just a minute. Sorry, it's Turkish, of course.
Okay, maybe we can continue the animation mainstreaming towards, because we already existed 5 minutes. Thank you very much. It was very interesting and including good examples of how the ecological design principles can be reflected in practice. And we have almost 10 minutes for questions. Is there any questions? I am now looking for the participant window.
Yes. So I can stop maybe, yeah.
And also, I am happy that flamingos are back.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking for any questions from the participants. Maybe I just wondering, for the lake projects from Tuzla, Kamil, Akkuş Lake projects, according to your experiences, what do you think about what was the most important challenging part in the design process? Because it includes many stakeholders, it has different characteristics, and also there's some regulations, some management parts. What do you think about that?
Yeah, actually in design process, maybe the most challenging part was the conceive the authorities, especially the main authority, the municipality, and the other, the supporting authorities such as the water, related water issues, to conceive them, the usefulness of these ecological strategies, actually, especially the water strategies. Because you know that actually there are not so much implemented examples here in Turkey. So that's why they, such a belief that so it can be useful or not. So because sometimes, it can be expensive, especially the first implemented parts, first implemented costs can be expensive. But if you think that if you think that the long-term, sustainability, actually it's quite cheap, and then recycled ecology. So the most challenging part, actually, to conceive them to, the usefulness and the needs of these ecological or sustainable approaches that we need in the site, on site. And the second thing is that there are different kinds of protection status, regularities on site. So such as archaeological, natural and urban, protection status. So in some areas on site, so they are overlapping. So that's why we have to follow all these, protection regularities. So sometimes, it limits you when you are designing, actually, but actually it's quite, also useful for the site. So these are the main challenges actually during the design process and also in the implementation process, because in the implementation process, actually, they again, the authorities again, they insist to do not, implement the biosphere part especially. But after the implementation biosphere part, they, solve how they, rainwater collected and the cleaned. And so that's why now they are quite happy for the last condition of the park, and the flamingos are back.
I mean, yeah, ideas tried for the first time are often perceived as risky, right? Yeah. But when the result is good, it becomes kind of references for the next one, right? So that's why your project is critical, and I think the results are successful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions again? Okay, I think we can close the session. Ebru, thank you very much for your presentations.
Welcome.
To design experiences from the Istanbul.
I also would like to thank you all, the attendants and the EELISA community to invite me, and then all the organization, for you also, Fatih, and the whole organization.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, EELISA community.